Very good day, everybody. Welcome to another stream. I am your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I'll be your captain for today. And today what we have planned is actually a little sightseeing of the Florida area. In particular, the area called Cape Canaveral. It is where the NASA's Kennedy Space Center is located. And we will not be seeing any live launches today. I believe there is a launch planned in a little over 24 hours or something. But we can check this later when we check the VFR map. So for now I just going to get inside of the cockpit. Just bear with me while I find the correct buttons. This, as you could see, was it was like a total fail. Okay, so here we are inside the cockpit, and I will show you. Let's go over the flight plan. It's a very easy flight plan. It's basically 2 VORs. Let's just to pull it up right here. So we are currently parked at the General Aviation parking. We're sitting at the Vero Beach Regional Airport, and we'll be actually flying to the Ormond Beach Municipal Airport. Both are in Florida. They're not too far apart. Should be about a 1-hour flight, I think. And once we so on the way actually there, we will try to see if we can overfly the Cape Canaveral, Kennedy Space Center area, and see what we can see there. There's the vehicle assembly building. It's a really huge structure where they do not laugh, but where they erect some rockets, and when the space shuttle program was still in operation running, they would erect it there as well, and they would mount it straight onto the external tank and the 2 solid rocket boosters that were sitting next to it. So it's a really big building, the VAB, Vehicle Assembly Building, so we should be able to see that, I hope. And obviously the launch pad 39A, the launch pad 39B. Maybe there's a rocket, and maybe we'll see some spacemen, you know, who knows. So basically, as I said, we're standing at the Vero Beach, flying actually to the first VOR, which is, I believe, should be weather station Kilo Charlie Oscar Foxtrot. They got the Charlie Oscar Foxtrot Patrick VOR. That's where we're going. That is sitting at 115.0. That's the frequency for our nav1 radio, so we'll have to dial that in. 115.0. Let's click on something. Oh, what can we see actually here? We click on anything of interest, or do we say no, Arkady, there's no interest at all? Does not look like it. Just stand by 1 second, because this obviously is not the correct screen. Usually I don't think this works either. Just stand by 1 second. Okay, so anyway, the Skyvector website is now gone. We'll just pull it up again. So all in all, it should be about a 1-hour flight. We've chosen the real world time and weather for today's flight. I believe it's about sunset here in Florida. So okay, so let's have a look. See if I can get the flight plan back for you. Let me just do this right here, and it should pop up any second. Now there you go. Okay. So basically, it's not too complicated. We fly for about 36 nautical miles to a heading of 351 degrees, or actually track of 351 degrees, if you will, to reach the Charlie Oscar Foxtrot VOR, and from there we'll fly to the Oscar Mike November VOR. That is actually also our arrival, and that is 69 nautical miles. Now there's a really big, as you can see on the map, there's this really big red area. Obviously, one could easily assume that we are not allowed to fly over this airspace, or at least there are some altitude restrictions if we are allowed to fly over this area at all. You can actually see as well, there's in TFR, it says it's effective on the 4th, is it the 4th of 11 to the 12th of 11th? It's valid for 5 days. Now could see earlier, there is actually a space launch planned. It will be live in 1 day and 5 hours, so that's a little over 20, that's about 29 hours. So obviously today there will be no space flights, but maybe we can spot anything. It's, in any case, it's always a really pretty area there. So I'm pretty excited to have a look at this area from the sky. So just there are no ado left. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and start off the aircraft now. So the magnetos on the left side, and the magnetos on the right side. We already turned on the battery in the alternators 1 and 2. Fuel pump can go on. You can hear it kick in immediately. And obviously, do not forget the fuel selectors, tank 1 and tank 2. Now the mixture, you can go completely up to the full reach position. And just maybe give a little bit of throttle input there. Now before we start the engines, or actually, you know what, let's start the engines now. Let's just open up the window and just shout, clear prop, everybody, Arkady is going to fly. You there with the worker vest, clear prop. Look, I'm shouting like crazy, but he's got these weird headphones on. I don't know, he might be listening to some classical music, or maybe he's learning how to speak French. Who knows? Oh look, he magically disappeared and he teleported himself to like 2 meters to the left. And he starts walking back. He probably have second thoughts about what he just did. So maybe now we also know exactly what this is listening to. He might be listening to some instructions on how to teleport yourself. Please do not walk through my wing. Thank you. Okay, so no more yolks. Okay, so let's power up the engine. Clear prop. Engine number 1. That's a successful start. Engine number 2. Okay, so these engines are running. Close out the little window here. It saves a lot of noise actually. Then we just turn on the landing lights, navigation lights, the strobe lights and the recog lights. The radio master is our avionics. So I set the first VOR as 115.0. So we're going to use this station here, this radio panel. 115.0, and this should actually change it in the GPS here. I believe the GPS is still sort of centered around it. This panel here, I believe, is your nav 2. Vero doesn't really say nav 2, but it says nav. So anyway, so vlog, that's the right one. It's not picking up yet. Well, it should be. How much was it? Not the 69. That's the second leg. So it's about 36 nautical miles. So they should start displaying DME as soon as we are airborne and reach an appropriate altitude. So we're gonna leave this button for now. Later on we'll press it to engage the autopilot. You can arm the autopilot and we'll set it to navigation, and it will follow the vlog. So that's, you can see that here in the GPS there. You can choose your CDI, what it should follow. Should it follow the GPS or should it follow the vlog? And it's going to follow the vlog, so that should all be good right there. Let's power up our engine a little bit, let everything get nice and warmed. My apology. So look at that little car racing. Okay, so we see the direction of the wind, so that's good. Could maybe have a look at the charts. So we can see actually where it is that we are on the airport. So Kilo Victor Romeo Bravo. Let me just go and look this one up. Check the chart. Go to the taxi chart, airport info. There you go. Just click the magic little magenta button there. So we're actually already looking at the runway. So basically what we're going to do is taxi in this general direction, and we get onto runway 30 left for our takeoff. I believe as a general aviation aircraft we would probably get the 30 right assigned, so we could also do that. Then we would actually travel, see, taxiway Charlie, cross runway 4, and then after that continue on Charlie and take the first left onto the Alpha, and then we cross runway what was it, 30 left, continue on Alpha, and there we take a right turn, the first on the right, onto Foxtrot, and Foxtrot will lead us all the way to the holding point for runway 30 right. Well, should be easily doable. So for now that should be it. What can we see in terms of how to get the hell out of here without using the grass? So okay, should be able to take a left here. Let's just see if we can do this. So the parking brake disengaged. Watch it, my good friend. Oh, taking a little bit of the grass here. So we'll take the right here. Just follow this runway until we cross the first runway that's intersecting it. sorry for the steering. I'm actually trying to close some other windows. The last time we were in the simulator, we ran into some really nasty FPS drops, and they have not really been explained yet. So I used to think it was due to rain, but then later on I could see it actually when it was not raining. So I'm not really sure what's going on. So we are about to cross our first runway. So we're going to cross runway 22. This all look clear. So we cross it. You always cross the runway and you do nothing else. You cross it as fast as you can. As fast, obviously, as you are allowed to drive while taxiing, but just be dedicated to cross the runway, because it's always a potentially dangerous situation to be sitting at the runway. Well, not taking off, but just taxiing over it. So we're now actually going to cross our second runway. This all looks clear, so let's just keep on going. Let's just stop here for a second and check our charts. Okay, so just carry on and then we take a right as soon as we can. So we're sitting in the PA44 Seminole from the Coronado.com website. It's a pay-by aircraft. It's a very nice aircraft. I believe there were some bugs maybe with some of these meters right there, but don't take my word over it. Just check it out for yourself. But I must say it is a very nice aircraft. So even if it is true that it's a little buggy, well, it's not even a little buggy. It's actually working fine. But if it's true that this little meter there in the lower left was a little bit buggy, that's maybe a better way to put it. Then it's still actually a really nice aircraft. It looks nice, it feels nice, it sounds nice, and it flies nice. So go definitely just go try it out. I'm not saying this because people might be paying me. Nobody is paying me at all, which is probably a good thing. Obviously my wallet wouldn't mind to be paid, but you know how it goes on the YouTube. You know, you start selling your soul to the devil, you know, and you start to put your face on potato chips and what have you, you know. It is only fun for the people who are in it, but it's not always fun for the people who are getting subjected to it. You know, it's just my humble opinion. I can very easily imagine that people who stumble upon this video were not drawn here because of any philosophical for any philosophical discussions or anything. But it is just my opinion. I'm voicing it. That's all. And because I'm explaining that, I'm basically just saying I love this aircraft, and if you like it, very cool, then you should go check it out. I did not make it myself, I'm just telling you who made it, so go check it out. They also have some other aircraft, but for Flight Sim 2020 I believe they have about 8 or 9 in total, maybe, or maybe it was 7 in total. I believe it was an odd number, but yeah, they have some really nice aircraft. So definitely go check that out. Okay, so we're getting closer to our runway. Let's set the flaps to the takeoff position. The aircraft is dragging to the left a little bit. Not really sure if that's it's just the aerodynamics, because it is actually a dual prop and not single. I believe that with single props it was maybe a little more normal, but I do not know. So we are runway 36 right. So let's just stop and hold for a little second and see what else is there. So the nav1 radio has not kicked in just yet. The nav radio here, the nav autopilot is set, but it is not yet picking up any DME. We're going to climb with let's just go for 800 feet per minute. So the flight directory is on, but we're waiting with the actual autopilot. Maybe it's also not a bad idea, you know, maybe just out of habit, to just turn on the let's see if we can zoom in a little more like this. Our squawk radio, or transponder actually. So just click the on button, Garmin GTX 330 Echo Sierra, Garmin Limited. Okay, so 1200, that's for VFR, it's probably just fine, just going to leave it. So parking brakes are released, the flaps are set to 1, which is our takeoff position, and let's just get this show going. So we're going to line ourselves up on the runway. Once we're lined up, quickly going to check what was the heading, and then maybe just also as a backup set the heading from our departure. And you can see this easily on the SkyVector website. Heading is 351 degrees from this position. So 351 degrees, and we just put this in our with the heading bug. So see 350, so 351, let's just give it one notch. Okay, so that's set as well. So what we could maybe do is just arm the heading for now, and then turn to the heading of 351 ourselves, and then as soon as the DME kicks in, we switch over to the nav radio, the nav1 signal. Parking brake released, full power, engines looking good. Keep the aircraft to the, oh, it's drifting to the right. Oh, this is scary, man. Look at the wind from on the left there. Okay, so now we are airborne, finally. This was a little bit scary, but we made it. We definitely did. So we got positive rate. So we put the gear up, and this altitude probably it's safe to put the flaps up too. So there is no DME there yet, so we'll just engage the autopilot. It's going to follow the heading, and it should also start doing the vertical speed for us. That's climbing now to about 800 feet. And the aircraft is now trying to follow the heading of 351. And there you go, there is a 35.5 DME, so we switch over to the nav, which means that now we'll fly the aircraft to follow this radio. So we're still climbing, so let's just keep it on climbing power for a bit. Maybe go a little faster, 1100 feet per minute. Let me just check our speed. Speed is fine, so just going to push it up to 1500 feet per minute. There you go, like that. Speed seems to be dropping ever so slightly, but nothing too bad. There's actually some light misty clouds here. Nonetheless, I'm deciding to stay on this altitude now. So we click the altitude button. The aircraft is now going to pitch down and try to maintain this attitude and altitude. So let's see if we can reduce the power a little bit. It was maybe a little bit abrupt, but it's a little bit more friendly instead of that very noisy bit. Let's have a look outside for a little bit. Definitely some cloud formation here. There's actually quite a number of small little airports here, little airstrips, airfields. I believe a lot of them actually are in use by the National Aeronautics Space Administration, NASA. I'm wondering if we should get a little lower with the clouds. We'll get to this in a minute. I'm quickly going to open up a little drink. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're still flying. That's good. That's the whole point. I do not know all the names here. Could have a little look at the charts. See if there's anything that we can identify. So we took off from here. There's the Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge. What's it called? How do you pronounce this? Sebastian Municipal. The X-26. Fulton, private, looks like a marine. Floridana Beach, Valcaria. So there's a couple of little airports and stuff. And I think we're actually about to fly into this area here. You could also maybe see, because we were about to fly 36 nautical miles. Let's see. No, not really sure. It's about halfway. Anyway, we'll forget about the chart. Let's just eyeball it and look outside the window. I always found this area to look quite interesting with the with the little islands here and then the water in the middle. It is obviously a very water-rich area next to the sea. На здоровье, everybody. So that's today's flight, just nice, small, short and easy. Just to wind down a little bit before we go to bed. Let's have a look outside. Definitely have a little more detail here. There's some nice little islands there. And I believe the Kennedy Space Center should still be somewhat further up ahead. So we're crossing an airport to our left there. It could be the Kilo X-ray 26 maybe. It looks nice with the sun setting there in the background. So, what do you think? If we fly over this area, think we will be shot down? Probably maybe receive a call on our COMN system telling us to turn around and notifying us that we are in a restricted airspace. And then if we do not comply, we are going to use force. I hope not. There's way too much disagreement that turns to fighting and war and other kinds of escalation in the world. So, you know, we should actually all just get along. You know, embrace our similarities rather than focus on the differences. Or embrace our differences and focus on the similarities. Or just fuck it, we're just all, well, never mind. I was going to say we are one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively, but you know, who wants that? Probably nobody wants that as an explanation or as a description of what our lives actually are. So we are drifting a little bit to this side of the area. Let's have a look outside the window from the aircraft. Obviously, with these little, with these big engines in front of this little window, they obviously obscure quite some of the view. But nonetheless, it adds to the atmosphere, if you ask me. So let's have a look now. We are 19.2 nautical mile from our first VOR. We're holding steady at altitude of 2,500 feet, and our speed is about 116, 117 knots. And we are still flying we're still flying the radial to our upcoming VOR. Now the first leg was about 36 nautical miles, so we should be about halfway now. So that means that we are about to fly in to the red area that we could see on the map. And you know, the whole concept of airspace is still fairly new to me. I know it's a significant part of VFR flying. You know, you should realize in what kind of airspace you are. There are different names for airspaces. I believe it's simply the Alpha and the Bravo, the Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, something like that. And they all have their own little rules. Yes, some, like I believe the Bravo are the controlled airspaces, and maybe the Golf are the not controlled airspaces, but it also depends maybe on what it is, what you're flying for an altitude. But one can probably very easily understand that it would be very feasible that you do not fly over such airspaces, such as, you know, the NASA airspace, without any kind of special clearance, or at least any kind of clearance actually. Clearance does not need to be special. Let's maybe look around the yoke there and turn on some of the internal lightings for when the sun actually does set. We turn off the fuel pumps for now. We do not need them at this stage. Landing light can go off now. Just leave the rest on. We're 14.8 nautical miles. Let's just maybe also zoom out from here. So the Kennedy Space Center is still a little up ahead. What we maybe could do, let's see, do they have a VOR there? Let me just check. I'll show you the map. So maybe we can divert a little. What do you say? So if you check the map here, we're halfway, so we should now be around here, close to the Melbourne VOR. So we could maybe see if we fly to Kilo X-ray Mike Romeo, but I do not believe they have a VOR. We could set a GPS waypoint, but I'm not going to bother with trying to put that into the GPS really. So there might be another way to try and get there, or are we just going to say, you know what, we're going to eyeball it. So once we arrive at our first VOR, the Patrick Air Force Base, we could just maybe fly to a heading to have a look. Could maybe fly an outbound radial. Let's see if we do this. So now it's inserting the Kilo X-ray Mike Romeo into our flight plan. And then we need to fly an outbound radial of 017. So we could carry on in a little while to fly the outbound radial 017. And then we should be flying straight over Cape Canaveral, Kilo X-ray Mike Romeo. And there's this little big rocket there, as you can see. I do not believe, let's just check, because where are, let's see, yeah, this might actually be 39 A and B. Let's have a look, but I'm not really sure. Here is the shuttle landing facility, and from the shuttle landing facility, which is here, You have the vehicle assembly building, I believe it's around here. And around this area, I believe actually are the 39A and 39B launch locations. But obviously not surprised if they have any other, they have other launch sites as well, besides those two really big ones. But I don't know. So let's just get back into the airplane and see what is going on. Going to decrease our altitude a little bit, so we turn it back to the vertical speed and just drop with 400 feet per second. See if it's also doing that. Yes, it's definitely trying to, so that's good. So maybe we can get below the clouds a little bit. So we're descending through 2,200 feet. It's still actually a little bit of clouds. It's actually interesting. Looks like it's just flying north here. Let's see what the situation is on this end. So this appears to be slave to the nav2. I'm probably messing things up. So let's try and put 1150 in on the other end as well. I'm not really sure what's going on. Let me get a little closer here. I don't know what else to press. It says it's following the V-lock navigation, but it's taking us heading what looks to be almost straight north. That could be the launch site right there in the distance.
So we're just cruising nicely here. Look, we're getting really close to the water here. So let's see if we can go up a little bit before we crash. I believe actually it is forbidden for pilots to play with their smartphones and stuff under a certain altitude, because if you were to stall, for instance, you know, maybe due to some drifting and the wingtip a little thing, you know, the wingtip over a little bit, so the aircraft starts banking, for just a low power situation, you know, it's probably going to be fatal escalation. So the thing we saw earlier there is just a little boat. So let's try to hold the altitude here. And the launch site should be on the mainland, but I don't think they're here just yet. There's a vehicle assembly building at our 12 or 1 o'clock. So it looks like we're on track, and I believe actually, not really sure obviously because there's so many airports or air strips here, but that might be the shuttle landing facility, because it's always I'm not sure. I mean, it's a big building. I know the building is close to the airport there, or to the airstrip I should say. Well, the first stars, I believe, unless it's an airplane. So, bye-bye sun, bye-bye. The sun is going to set. So looks like we're going to have a good view of the vehicle assembly building. So steadily cruising, no rockets yet, no spaceman. Let's center our heading bar. Well, that's actually sort of centered already. And let's see if we can set course maybe for the vehicle assembly building. Maybe we could have it to our left. So maybe a little more to the right. Let's see how this turns out. Switch over to heading. Turn off the navigation. The aircraft's banking now. This looks like it's going to be a nice course right here. That's definitely the vehicle assembly building. So we are at the Kennedy Space Center. Right there are the launch pads 39A and B. I always forget which one is which, to be honest, but you can't go wrong from here. If it's not this one, then it's the other one, and vice versa. So let's turn off the autopilot for a bit and add a little more power. And let's go have a look at the vehicle assembly building first. So there's the shuttle landing facility. So it's a really long runway. Obviously, the space shuttle cannot brake on the engines because it was always landing without any propulsion whatsoever. It was simply landing as a glider, and they called it the flying brick. And this was not without a reason, because the descent profile of the space shuttle was like, you know, what an airliner, if you check the mouse pointer, would go, like have a vertical profile of about this, you know, like a slope of 3 degrees. The space shuttle was like, I don't know, 20 degrees or whatever, or maybe it was not doing 20, probably a lot more. It was sitting at 10,000 feet when it was straight in front of the runway. And then it had to flare, and then as soon as the main gear touched down, the drag chute would deploy. It would have a tail speed brake that would deploy, but it's basically at no flaps. It's just a speed brake that's sitting in the tail. So right here, 2 little sort of flaps would extend to help slow down the spacecraft. But that was it. So they needed a really long runway for that. They used to use another runway in case they could not land at this Kennedy Space Center. They would deorbit for targeting Edwards Air Force Base, which also is a real long runway. Okay, so we're going to fly straight over the one of the largest buildings in the world, I believe, the Vehicle Assembly Building. There's the NASA logo. I believe, actually, not really sure, but I think this was a livery that a scenery that I downloaded from the flightsim.to website. There might be a few. Just go check it out if you like this sort of scenery. If you are like me and you are a space, space flight enthusiast, then you might just enjoy this. So that's the Vehicle Assembly Building right there. It is tall enough to put a rocket inside. Well, it gives you an idea of how big it is. And then let me just scoot over to the right side a little bit. So there is one launch site right there, and the other one we might be passing overhead now. Let's just check it. Oh, 1 and 2 right there. So let's just take a right turn here. So let's see what it is that we can see here. So it looks like there is no rocket currently for us to look at. So that's the launch site. And then I believe, let's just take a right turn. And then there's the other launch site. And it actually looks like it has a rocket right there, as you can see. I can see 2 solid boosters, or maybe just 3 from this angle. And as soon as these boosters ignite, they go off. The systems are pumping seawater into the area below. And the reason they do that, once this ignites, is to dampen the shock waves, because the shock waves from the concrete structure of the landing pad, the shock waves, they are so enormous that if they are not absorbed, they will actually damage the very aircraft that is or spacecraft that is trying to lift off there. Yeah, so that's why they and obviously they're close by the sea, so they will just use that seawater to dampen the enormous amount of energy in terms of shock waves that gets released once the solid rocket boosters and the main engine start firing. I also heard that there's a lot of crocodiles here, and I've seen once there was this I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or maybe more, there was this documentary on television where they were explaining how they were using some feline species. I do not remember which one it was, but some wild animal. They were deploying them here and there. I believe it was for birds or something. So we go by the vehicle assembly building once again, and then we'll just carry on to our destination. Let's try not to fly in it. Maybe have a little look outside. There's a wider field of view there. So yeah, that is a big building. And I like how it's just very simple. It's just it's a block. Looks like there might be a crawler. They use the crawlers to transport a space vehicle, launch vehicle, through these, if you will, taxiways to the launch pad. This could take like 20 hours easily, because they go like 3 meters per hour or something, or less. It's like insanely slow, obviously. So here's the very long runway of the shuttle landing facility. It is located, it's sitting at, what was it, 1530 or something, whatever is the opposite. I believe 33 and 15. So yeah, this is a really long runway. It might not look very long. It is also unusually wide. So it's actually, this is a huge runway. And you know, to talk about the shuttle some more, you know, as I said, it was the shuttle was landing as a glider, and you know, with the shuttle, you would not just say requesting a go around or anything, you know. Let's disengage the heading, but turn on the autopilot so that we at least maintain this current altitude. And we quickly check now the VOR for our final destination for today's flight. That is the Oscar Mike November VOR. That would be 112.6. 112.6. Let's just put it in on both. 112.6. Turn that on there, and here 112.6. It says it's not picking up yet. If we let's see, can we pick it up on the left side? Let's have a look. Not at all. Let's turn on the heading. Let's say around, basically this heading should probably be fine. So just set it for heading now. Oh, it looks like it's trying to pick up now, so it's good. So we turn the course direction indicator. Or CDI in short. Oh, always zooms out when you miss the sweet spot there. Yeah, it's about 33. So we switch over to nav, and the autopilot is now going to fly straight to the VOR. So we're going to climb a little bit now. Vertical speed may go up 1000 feet per minute. So there you go, we have a nice view of the sun setting here in Florida, United States of America. Skies are coloring nice colors here. We are 40 nautical miles from our destination, climbing through 2,400 feet. And since there's some clouds forming again, let's just keep this altitude for now. These are not really the optimum VFR, conditions. Let's turn on the pitot heat. And maybe the, probably it's not necessary cabin heat, just to keep it off. Yeah, so maybe I should change the some of the tags or some of the titles for the videos into something like MSR or something, you know, because I must admit I love listening to the aircraft while falling asleep. You know, I do not actively listen to what I'm saying. Sometimes I watch, you know, I just turn them on like a rerun. Obviously I check some things, you know, technical or whatever, but it's also nice just to have a little voice going, and if the engine's going, you know, for me it's relaxing. For other people there might be some hardcore club music that might be relaxing for them, or maybe some I don't know what have you, some speed metal. Some terms of timing today's flight, I think this is actually turning out quite nice. I'm happy with that because it's nice. We had just enough light to sightsee the Cape Canaveral, the Kennedy Space Center, and now on the final leg to our destination, where we will land, we can enjoy a little bit of the view of the sun setting over the Florida horizon, or not sure if it's setting over the horizon, it's actually setting behind the horizon. But tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Look, some of the clouds are dissipating. I'm totally loving this view, man. Oh, look, and there's the moon. And as you can see, the sun is shining on the right side here from our perspective on the right side of the moon. Just enough so that we can see a small little line there. Yes, we are above some solid ground here, holding at 2,600 feet. Let's double check the altimeter. Yeah, the altimeter should still be fine. For the distance to the runway, 30.4 nautical mile, so still a ways out. I just want to see if we can just, oh, maybe that's a little overdoing it. See if you can get a little more speed in. Okay, so let's just overdo it then. And check the DME to see if this makes any difference. I mean, it makes a difference, but to see if it makes any, noticeable difference, it looks like it's making some noticeable difference. Absolutely right there. So there goes the sun. Look at that. Something in me, I cannot stand this for too long in a level flight. I'm very sorry for being so indecisive, but it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know why. It might be an illness of some sort, but it just doesn't feel right, just overpowering the engines like that for while we're not climbing. that's the last rays of the sun right there. And as we discussed earlier in another video, the sun, the particles of the light, they take about 8 minutes to reach us. So moments like this, the sun is actually already behind the horizon in reality. Oh, look, there it finally completely disappeared for today. It will be back tomorrow. "22 nautical miles." So let's prepare for the landing. So we're going to land at the Ormond Beach Municipal, Kilo Oscar Mike November. Kilo Oscar Mike November. We have a look at the charts here. Let's turn this thing off. So they have a runway 09er, 17 and 27. Let's see if we can maybe do a runway 27. Let's also have a look at the airport diagram. Elevation 25, 28, 26, 21. Doesn't really matter which runway we take. Obviously wind is a factor. We could maybe try on the SkyVector website. Let's see, I'll show you. I believe sometimes it is actually possible to see a little weather report. This is our destination. So what are they saying? Wind 340 at 6 knots. 340, 6 knots. So if you look at the chart, we need to land at 35, sitting at an elevation of 26 feet. So we're going to land on 35. Could check maybe if there is anything for 35. Doesn't have any information. There's no chart for 35. Probably no problem at all. Like my brother is a pilot as well, and he always says no problem, I will land this thing anyway, which in that sense a good attitude, obviously. So we're 18 nautical miles. We're still on the course. Not sure if that's actually a runway right there. It's a little bit far out to see. It could just be a road that's being lit. I do not see the what do they call it? The light bunnies. So 15 nautical miles. Did think I saw some light bunnies there. Let's just see if we can fly overhead or get really close and maybe do a last minute course change. So the runway should be sitting at 35 degrees, so we could maybe put the heading back there. But you know, it's actually precise. It looks like it's precisely what we are heading at now, isn't it? sometimes I have a hard time seeing clearly. So this is 3-3. So they should be 3-5 then. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights. There you go. We're about to land. There's the moon. It's still some sunlight from behind the horizon here in Florida. Definitely flying over some more densely populated area. Let's have a look if we can see where we are. Let's just turn on this little thingy. So Daytona Beach. Oh, so I believe there is a NASCAR speedway racing track here as well. But the Daytona, I believe it's not a circular or oval shaped, or maybe the Daytona is. Maybe Daytona was a speedway actually, so it probably is. But I don't know, I forget. So there's a runway right there, but this does not look like our airport, and we are still 10 nautical miles out, so this is not it. We could obviously check the map, which I always like to do, just because I can and because it's good fun. So chances are this is Daytona Beach Airport. There you go. So from here we carry on just a little bit more until we reach the Ormond Beach view, which is sitting at our airport right there. Oh, it's the wrong button. It is nice to see the sky coloring orange and the lights on the ground getting all turned on now. Okay, so we're at 8 nautical miles. Unfortunately, you see the altitude is still stuck at 27 feet. I could quickly check if I go to the browser thingy. Oh, not turn it off, just open it and maybe refresh. I don't know why it doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't want to update. I'm not always equipped with the proper amount of patience. And it sucks because, you know, it's nice. At least hopefully it will show us the landing rate, provided that it's a very nice soft landing. Okay, so 5.3 nautical miles. We should definitely be able to see the airport from here, but I do not think I see it just yet. Maybe this might be the airport. Yes, there you go. There the lights pop in. Okay, so we're getting ready for landing. Maybe turn on this little overhead light. To see the controls a little bit better. And vertical speed go down 1,000 feet per minute. So we're a little close, so we're going to fly a pattern probably. Drop the gear. That will also allow us to go a little bit slower as well. Turn off the autopilot. See if we can leave the feathers up there. Not really sure if this is the way to do it though. I will check some videos and some instructions, some guidelines with regards to the use of the feather. Okay, so this would be probably a good time to trim the aircraft into a straight position. I really believe that the feather should go down a little bit more as well. I'm just going to do it. Okay, so this is our speed. Trim it up a little bit more and try to level it out. We're flying to the north, so we're going to bank to the left. Try to stay level. I try to achieve this by using the trim while I'm in a turn. To mess with things a little more, I'm going to extend the flaps to 1. There's the runway. Hope it's the right runway. It is, so that's also good. Very nice. So let's level it out. So we're flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. Speed is fine, but a little bit on the low side. But it is looks like it's holding steady, so that's good. So there's the airport. And again, it seems to, while flying close to the ground, seems that the Microsoft Flight Simulator starts to generate a lot more frames per second or something. We're going to wait a little bit longer before we do our left turn, heading 350. So let's turn left now. Try not to descend. Also try not to climb. So we're on at the 90. There's our runway. Level it out extend flaps too. I guess we could be a little bit high, but obviously the plane is rather maneuverable. Let's trim it down a little bit more. Let's put your nose down not too harshly there. Well, this looks an okayish approach. Let's trim down a little bit more, speed down a little bit more, find the center line, maybe trim up a little bit. Oh, watch the center right there. Just look over the nose of the aircraft. Okay. Careful, careful. Engine to idle. Watch the speed. Set it down, nice and easy. Guess it's quite okay. So the flaps can go up. So welcome back to the ground, everybody. So now we just exit the runway. Quickly peek at the chart. So we take the first to the right, we just follow it. So this was nice. So that's the end of our runway. Oh, Whiskey Bob 812, runway vacated. So we turn off the landing lights. My apology. Oh, let's actually turn them on. Because there's a lot more visibility, but I think procedural, probably you should actually not have them on. This turn was a little sudden. Okay, so we cross the holding point for runway, what was it, 27, there you go. We cross that, and after crossing it, we take the first to the right and the first to the left. Obviously, usually it would always be a good idea to orient yourself before actually landing, actually even before the approach. So we go to the right and then we take the first to the left. Okay, so we successfully crossed runway 26 on our way to the parking stands for the general aviation aircraft. So, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Let's see if this guy can get a hint. Okay, so it is officially a standoff. It's now a matter of who's going to budge first. So, well, while we celebrate our victory, we're also going to check the charts and see if we can find the general aviation parking stands, perhaps. Let's see, FBO. Don't think I know what that stands for. So I guess we'll just carry on and just find any place. Then it's probably fine. Okay, so the car decided not to go by us, not to go through us, but actually just to backtrack and to just return from whence it came. So let's just look around what this place is. Maybe we just park in the middle somewhere, or we find some spot. Looks like there's some cars here, so let's not go here. Maybe we can pick this little corner. There's a fuel truck there. So I think this looks nice. Parking brake set. So we turn on the landing lights. And we turn off the engines. So the engines have been turned off now. Turn off the magnetos. As well, the alternator can go off. The battery, for now, we'll leave it on a little bit, so we have some light. Where are the... Ooh, it's dark to see, man. There you go, with a flashlight. So the fuel tank selector has been turned off too. We turn off the avionics, and then probably the sim is going to register this as us ending the simulation. It does not do it yet, maybe because the battery is actually still on. Then let's turn off. Where's the off button for the transponder? That can go off too. I don't think we turned off the... Oh, we didn't turn off the radiation, the avionics. We turned off the flight director. So there you go. So it was a flight of about 1 hour, 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Let's just click continue. So navigation light go off. Stop everything. Turn the plane light completely dark. And then finally the battery. There you go. Now the aircraft's powered down completely. Open up a little window, and let's also open up the door, and we can disembark from the aircraft. Let's have a look at where we landed. There's some activity here, some ground service vehicles. The sky looks quite pretty. I like the colors. I like the silhouettes there of the trees. Here's our little aircraft. Let's turn off the flashlight for now. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for checking it out. Hopefully see you next time. We will do some more sightseeing. We'll do some airliners. We will do some delivery runs. If there are any ideas, just let me know in the comments, because it would always be nice to have some input from other people. We have a couple of pilots flying on the channel. So maybe there's the preference for a particular pilot in combination with a particular flight or a particular aircraft and all that stuff. So everybody keep well and be good to one another and enjoy every day that you have. This is Arkady Gidzenko. I'm your personal funky scene pilot for today. Thank you for checking and see you next time. Bye bye.